Hey, you guys having fun here? Well, help support our efforts at patreon.com/BattleGeekPlus.
Welcome to Awesome Video Game Memories, where we talk about awesome memories about video games. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Josh.
And we're here to talk about the NES and Famicom Minis. This is how big they are.
They are tiny.
Very tiny.
The boxes that come in are tiny also.
Very tiny.
This is like, this can like fit in my hand almost, like not in the palm quite, but it's pretty tiny. The tiny buttons.
Now you're playing with power in the palm of your hand, although it's not quite a Game Boy.
No, but this controller is like Game
Yes.
Boy micro-sized controller. Like that is just amazingly tiny. It's not like I mean we played some games on it and like we were able to do it, you know, and other people came over and played games on it, and like nobody complained about the controller size. But
And sadly, you can't open these. You can't eject the games.
no, even if it didn't have a function, it'd be cool if I would have been able to at least make this spring forward.
You know, actually, what would have really been cool is if you can open this and put an SD card slot in it.
An SD card, or maybe like like one of those. I don't know. There was someone who made like a miniature like RetroPie Nintendo, and they had like a little flash kind of carts that they would put it in, and it would load up the ROM that was already loaded directly onto the Pi. That would have been cool, but it probably would have made it more expensive.
Yeah, definitely.
So either way, it's still pretty cool. Anyway, so
let's start how I actually acquired both of these. I acquired the Famicom Mini first because I was on Twitter. I saw someone on Twitter, I think called Nintendo News. Yeah, Nintendo News posted the Famicom Mini is on sale at PlayAsia for $99. So I was one of the lucky people that picked it up because moments later it was gone.
oh yeah, it was like by the time I got to it, like it had been gone for a while. And when it came back a few days later, it was like twice as expensive.
Yeah, it went up to $149, I think.
Yeah, like I was just kind of like, whatever.
So yeah, it's still available on PlayAsia now, but it's at $149.
Yeah, no, I think it was $139 when when it came back in stock the first time, and now it's $149. Like this thing is definitely like, unless you were like super hardcore, you need one of these and have no other way to play one. Like definitely the NES is definitely the much more economic buy.
Well, not as of now, though.
Oh, really?
Obviously, because of eBay.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, like, if they come back in stock somewhere, you know, that's what I mean.
Yeah, so now this one, the one everyone's having a lot of trouble getting. So the funny thing is, I think the Thursday before it was going to be released, our pal Joe, he posted on Twitter, oh, hey, these are going on sale at GameStop.
Right.
And so I remember trying to load the site, and I couldn't even add it to my cart.
I was trying to load it too.
Yeah.
I was trying to load that. I was trying to load like Amazon, anywhere, Target.
Yeah, so I gave up on GameStop because it kept crashing, but then I was lucky there's this website called Cheap Ass Gamer, and on their Twitter they posted, oh, these went for sale at Best Buy, and I was able to grab one.
Oh yeah, I tried Best Buy also. I tried everywhere.
Yeah, I actually tweeted you and Joe the link to Best Buy, but I think I was only the lucky one.
Joe, he posted the link on Twitter before he actually acquired his own, and then was immediately regretting it when he couldn't get it. And you ended up getting both because you ended up getting this, and most people haven't even been able to get one. Like,
it's been tough.
That's some incredible luck.
Yeah, so I do go over in a battle blog I released a while back, you know, like Nintendo is trying to create artificial demand for these things because like they didn't know that there was a demand for this.
I don't know, like I think like at first, like when we first started talking about it, like when it was announced, like we weren't really all that excited about it.
Yeah.
But then like as time like crept closer, like our excitement kind of like grew like just slowly over time, and then by the time it was about to come out, like we were like, oh my god, we need these.
Yeah.
So
and it was kind of funny, the Famicom Mini sold more than the Wii U in Japan that week.
Oh yeah, it did. I think we talked about that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that on the podcast. So that's absolutely crazy. Like but like one of these, I remember someone saying that they looked at trending prices on eBay for an NES and for all 30 games, and they said that if you wanted to buy them on eBay, it would cost you about $500.
Oh yeah.
As we're buying one of these is like $60 plus like $10 for another controller.
But right now on eBay, these are going for over 200. I saw some go for like 1,000, some for over 90,000, even more than the Nintendo World Championship cards.
Jeez, 90,000.
Yeah.
There was some someone actually bought one of those super expensive ones too. Like, that's
they were pretty desperate. I guess.
Absolutely insane. Like I can wait. Like if I want to get my own, like instead of just borrowing from you, like I can wait and get a $60 one, later.
Yeah.
So
okay. Now here's the poster that comes inside the NES Mini.
Now you're playing with power since 1985. Hey Ryan, let's show the viewers some Famicom Mini.
All right, sounds good. Let's get those controllers. It's a bit too short.
Yeah, don't worry about it, man. I saw this coming and made sure to get some extension cables.
That is awesome.
Right? I got a couple of USB extension cables for the AC adapter, and I've got an 8-foot long HDMI cable. This one does come with an HDMI cable, but it's way too short. So now we can drag it back over to the TV.
All right, so make sure you get it, please. So, what do you think of the controller? Is it a little too small, or is it just right?
It's noticeably smaller than your standard, Famicom or NES controller, but it's not really bothering me. Like I can still do everything that I want to do.
Okay, that's good.
All right, now it's time to try out the NES Mini.
Hold on, there seems to be a problem. There's only one controller.
Yeah, the controllers are even harder to get than the system.
Yeah, I know, that's kind of crazy. But I have a solution. A Wii Classic gamepad plugs right in. Bingo! No, I thought these would be longer than the Famicom ones.
That's okay. The hookups are exactly the same as on the Famicom, so we can
really
drag the extension straight out.
That's great.
Also, so you know, if you don't have the longer cables like I do, there are extensions that you can buy from third parties for the controllers themselves, so you can keep the unit closer to the TV if you want to.
Yeah, and they're not that expensive either, unlike the system and the controllers themselves.
Right?
Alright, so now let us talk about the games. So on both systems we got Balloon Fight, so is Balloon Fight a good choice to have on this?
I think it's like, classic NES title, definitely.
Yeah, we played it on the show and it's a good 2-player game, and we also got Castlevania.
Castlevania is, I wasn't always a big fan of Castlevania, but it's kind of a must-have.
Yeah, it's a must-have. And also, if you're playing on the Famicom Mini, it's actually the disk system version where you actually enter your name.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then we got Donkey Kong, the first one, classic.
Donkey Kong, yeah, you can't have Nintendo without Donkey Kong.
Yeah. So Double Dragon 2, we have the really hard one on the NES and the really easy one on the Famicom Mini.
Well, yeah, on the Famicom Mini, you can actually choose an easy mode that will actually take you all the way through the game and not cut off.
Yeah, that's right.
Part of the way in.
And it'll show the ending too.
Yeah.
And Dr. Mario, yeah, that's obviously a classic.
It's Mario.
Yeah, a classic puzzle game you gotta have.
Yeah.
Excite Bike, obviously, another one.
You can't without Excite Bike.
Now, Galaga, this is where they start putting more of the third-party games. It's definitely a great arcade game.
It is,
Yeah. Ghosts and Goblins, hard as shit. We played it on the show.
Yeah, like it'd feel incomplete without it, but is it so hard.
We got Gradius, which is the first game with the Konami code. Definitely a classic one.
You gotta have the Konami code.
Ice Climber, I'm not the biggest fan of this game, but I see why it was put in.
I mean, they were Smash characters. So.
Yeah, and Kirby's Adventure, really awesome game to put on there.
Yeah, first Kirby NES, nice platformer for the start of Barth.
Right. The original Mario Brothers, another classic.
Not Super.
Yeah. At least not Super yet. Then Mega Man 2, obviously another classic. But
one of your favorites.
Yeah, I am surprised that they actually didn't put the first one on this one, and they went with the second, although the second one was the more popular.
The second one's way better.
Yeah. So Metroid, we have the disk system version on the Famicom Mini and the regular version on the NES Mini. I think the only difference is you just put in your name in the Famicom Mini.
Okay, I didn't know if there was a password change or a save function or something like that.
And then we got Ninja Gaiden on both, or Ninja Ryukenden on the Famicom Mini, but they're basically the same game.
I actually got pretty far in Ninja Ryukenden on the Famicom Mini, like even with a small controller.
Right, awesome. And Pac-Man, obvious choice for a great arcade game.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And now this is one that I find a little strange of Super C, which we call Super Contra. Now, Super C is a great game, don't get me wrong, but I'm surprised they didn't put the original Contra, which is more iconic in my opinion.
That is kind of an odd choice.
Yeah, I think it was like a licensing issue.
Maybe.
Yeah. Then obviously the original Super Mario Brothers on both.
Oh, yes.
Super Mario Brothers 2. Now, it was obvious this would be on the NES Mini, but I'm surprised it was on the Famicom Mini and not the Lost Levels, which was the real Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, instead they had it, and it's called Super Mario USA.
Yeah, and obviously Super Mario Brothers 3, one of the best games of all time.
It is.
Obviously. Now, Legend of Zelda, for some reason, for the Famicom Mini, they used the disk system version, because I know there was a Famicom cartridge version, which is exactly the same as the NES.
The disk system version actually has some better sound quality to it, with sound effects, like the monsters and the beams and stuff like that. So it is actually pretty nice to have the Famicom disk system version.
Okay, now Zelda 2, on the Famicom Mini, they have the disk system version, which I find it's interesting. It's not as polished as the US version. The music's different, Link looks a little different, the challenge is a lot easier. So yeah, I'm really surprised they had the disk system version on
I actually might want to give it a try then if they actually
yeah, you should. It's definitely a lot easier.
I've never been a fan of like the side-scrolling Zelda.
So now games unique to the NES Mini. Bubble Bobble, really awesome 2-player game. We played it on the show.
Yeah, I mean you need Bubble Bobble.
Yeah. So Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest only on the NES Mini. I'm surprised on the Famicom Mini they didn't put the disk system version of Castlevania 2 or Akumajo Dracula 2, which has different sound. I would have liked to hear that.
Was this the one that had the like one of the early games to have like multiple endings?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Donkey Kong Jr., for some reason that's on the NES Mini but not the Famicom Mini.
Donkey Kong Jr., I actually like that more than regular Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I agree too. So, and Final Fantasy 1 on the NES Mini, obviously a great game. Now Kid Icarus, I like this game. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I'm definitely certain, it deserves to be on here.
It does.
Now Punch-Out featuring Mr. Dream, obviously we can't have Mike Tyson, and one thing about this, it has input lag, not as bad as the Wii and the Wii U version. Because I remember during Thanksgiving, I was playing against Don Flamenco, and there's this technique I used that if you hit him with a right punch, left punch, and you alternate punches, he can't move, but I ended up throwing like 2 left punches just due to the input lag. Especially when you fight Mr. Dream, there's a lot of input lag. So,
yeah, you couldn't do much to Mr. Dream.
I couldn't.
More than me or anybody else in the room, but...
So yeah, right now, the best way to play Punch-Out is on a CRT.
Definitely.
And then Star Tropics. Now, this is an awesome one to have on here. And yes, they do have the code to get past the submarine, 747. And now Tecmo Bowl. Now, Tecmo Bowl is... I'm actually surprised they had this on here. And I know Tecmo Super Bowl is the superior title, but obviously due to the licensing, they couldn't put it on here.
Which that's fine, because I could actually stand a chance against you in regular Tecmo Bowl.
Of course. And now, games unique to the Famicom Mini only. So, Atlantis no Nazo. I played a bit of it. I didn't really get far. I found it kind of hard.
Yeah, I haven't really touched it yet.
Right.
We also have Downtown Neketsu Koshinkyoku, which is... You were playing it a little bit.
Yeah, it never came out here. It has the River City Ransom characters, but it's more like a kind of a sports game, like a racing game. Like you control the River City Ransom characters, and you're like running through the city, and then you have to like avoid traps and obstacles.
Yeah, they had a lot of the Downtown Neketsu characters in a series of games. They were kind of like mascots almost. They were in Super Dodgeball also.
Yeah. And we also have the third Final Fantasy, which is also a good choice. NES Open Tournament Golf. This actually was released in the US. I'm surprised they put it on the Famicom Mini only.
Well, that was the just like the standard golf one, not like the Mario one, right?
It's the Mario Golf one.
Oh, it is the Mario Golf. Okay. And then there's also Downtown Neketsu Monogatari, which is the Japanese version of River City Ransom. It's got a little bit easier of a password system, more haiku style, but otherwise it's River City Ransom with Japanese text.
Yeah. Although I really wish they put it on the NES Mini, though.
The NES version, though, if you can get a hold of that does have that one new code that's on it.
Yeah, oh yeah. Then we also have Solomon's Key, which actually was released in the US, but I wonder why they put the Japanese one on here.
I tried to play that. I didn't really have that much fun.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that game. And then we have a really awesome game we discovered on this, a Bumping Sumo.
Yeah. Tsupari Ozumo.
Yes.
I actually saw a YouTube video of it, and then I noticed it was on the Famicom Mini, and was like, oh crap, we've got to play this. It looks so fun.
Yeah, like playing it on the Famicom Mini was my first time, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Although it's pretty obvious why it wouldn't come out in the US.
Yeah, it never came out here. It's so Japanese of a game.
Yeah. And then we got Yi Air Kung Fu. I actually like the arcade version of this, but I don't like the NES version.
Yeah, ER Kung Fu, like, I don't think I've played the arcade version yet.
Right.
But the NES version, like, I just felt like, it's like early fighting games, horrible hit detection.
Yeah, I definitely played the arcade version if you can. And I could see why it didn't come out here in the US.
Yeah, just not that great.
All right, so overall, what did you think of both the Famicom and the NES Mini?
Well, I haven't played the NES Mini as much because I was borrowing the Famicom Mini from you.
Yeah.
But I did really enjoy it. That menu music.
Right, yeah, it's so cool.
I remember I found a YouTube video of it where it just played for like an hour, and I just listened to it. But overall, it's a really fun little machine to have. I still have it sitting right over here. And I'm hoping you forget that you actually own this, and I can just kind of hide it in a corner somewhere.
Well, I'm going to let you borrow it for a while, so I hope you have fun with it. But, chances are I'm probably going to be playing a lot more games, but, maybe I'll take it back one of these days.
What are your opinions on the NES Mini? I know you had more.
Yeah, so the NES Mini is great. The only problem I have with it is the input lag, because it is an HDMI system, and you can't use it on a CRT, obviously. Especially with Punch-Out, there's going to be a bit of input lag. I noticed a little bit of input lag with Mega Man 2, but it's not that bad. It's still beatable. But overall, it's a very, very good selection of games, although I'm going to be honest here. Now, if you had to select between one of them and you only had money for one and both were easily available, both at the same price, I would probably recommend the NES Mini a little more, because if the Famicom Mini had more unique games like the original Super Mario Bros. 2 Lost Levels, I would probably recommend both of them more.
I like the Famicom Mini more specifically because of some of the things.
Right.
River City Ransom, Double Dragon 2 with more varying difficulties, that sort of thing. The Sumo game. The fact that it already has 2 controllers that are...
Oh yeah, you have a point there.
And that they can be just like the original Famicom, put right on there. One thing I do like about both versions, though, you mentioned CRT, is that there is a CRT filter you can put over the gameplay. So, while you still get that input lag, which I haven't really noticed with the games I've been playing.
Right.
But you at least kind of get the look and feel of CRT even on an HD television.
Yeah, that's true. So availability of these systems, as of this recording, you can get the Famicom Mini from eBay or PlayAsia for about $150. I was very lucky to get it for $99. Although you may need to get the adapter, but don't worry, you can actually... Yeah, so it's micro USB, so you can just use your old iPhone charger with it. So
yeah, you get micro USB, same thing you would use for, say, an Android phone, to USB with a phone plug right there. That is how you can do it. Or if you end up getting both, the hookups are the same, just like we said earlier in the video.
Yeah, and now availability for the NES Mini. As of now, they are going for $200 on eBay, but please don't spend that much money. I would definitely recommend waiting for Nintendo to replenish the stock.
They eventually will, just like they did with Amiibo.
Yeah. And also definitely get a longer HDMI cable, get longer extensions for the controllers, and you'll be just fine. You
don't have to get one of like super amazingly high quality that's super expensive. Just get a longer one.
Yeah.
Maybe the one I'm using is 8 feet.
Right. Yeah, since I know a lot of gamers have really high-tech entertainment centers, you're probably going to need the longer cords.
Definitely.
Yeah. Alright, so that wraps up this episode of Awesome Video Game Memories about the NES and the Famicom Mini, and if you have any memories about these consoles, make sure to leave those in the comments below. Take care.
Hey, you guys having fun here? Well, check us out on twitch.tv/BattleGeekPlus.